I'm going to show you how I reverse engineer things in my house and then 3D print them, because everything's stupidly expensive right now and you can save a lot of money. For example, here we're going to reverse engineer this, what do you call it, a tap handle. Reason being is that these are starting to crack, and it's kind of nice to have these on hand, I guess. Already we've got a basic reverse engineered form of, as you can see, this. It's pretty old. Here, this is my attempt. It's pretty much the same structure. I just need to get a threading drill to thread that. Otherwise I could make click ones which have like little tension points. And of course this is, I'll go grab one of these just to show you. Okay, so this is the original one, and this is made out of plastic, and it's made to look like it's metal because it's just been painted and varnished, unless it's really, nah, it's probably not aluminum. And this is the 3D printed one, so you can see they are very similar. They're not perfectly similar in their measurements, because my negatives weren't perfect, but negative is like negative space, like a cup is full of negative space, right? But they pretty much are like the same functional thing, because it fits in here just fine and it covers the thinger just fine. Of course, I wouldn't mind using acetone to smooth it out, or smoothing it out some other way. That'd be nice to make it a bit more like waterproof. Maybe varnishing it or something, but that's for later. Anyway, here I have some basic, these are my measurements to actually make these. So you can see the top one is this, as you see, that's top there. That is the top, that is the bottom. And I have all the holes measured. I have the length. This is 66 from there to there. I'm working in millimeters, by the way. From here to here is, what's that, like 34? Right, so, and then I have the bottom one measured out. That's how I actually made these, is that I measured them. And you'll notice I've got a front, top, and a base or bottom diagram. Now for this one, this is a cylindrical object. This is also a cylindrical object. This is also a cylindrical object, basically meaning if you took a lathe and you had a cylinder, you could make these, right? Because all we really need for this object is we need a top view, we need a bottom view, excuse me, it's a bit dirty, I know, it's quite old, and we need a side view, because the front is exactly the same as the side, the left and the right side, and the back is exactly the same as the front, besides the cosmetics, besides the little bits of like polyfiller that are all over this, and all the chips and all the, oxidization and such. But these are basically the exact same, right? An object like this phone case, the front and the side are a little bit different because it's a rectangular object. This you could carve from a rectangle. So first thing is try to understand, if it's a basic object, we're just working with basic objects, what can you really create it from? And as I said, these are all cylindrical objects. We need to measure this out and draw this out. So we have our top, our base, and our front view. And firstly, I'm going to draw this out. So I'm just going to look at this, okay, and we can just draw a circle, and that's our basic diagram, and then it has a circle in the middle, and it has this like this rectangular, kind of curved rectangular shape there. And then these areas, it's got like these kinds of things. It's got these hard edges. It's got these like, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that means I'll draw like what do you call, like a Star of David. So it's got one here. It's got one like like here, it's got one like here, and one here, right? So there we are, something like that, right? Good enough, right? Good enough, whatever. And then it's kind of, they kind of look like this. Yeah, look, it would be a bit better if I was off camera. I swear I'm better at drawing this. But I guess trying to do it while standing up on camera is a little hard. Whatever, good enough picture, right? This one, it's got like an outer circle, and then it's got like an inner, so it's got an inner circle, and then of course it's got this inner bit, it's kind of got a rectangle thing there, and it seems to have some inner thing there, and then it's got these, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like so, right? Good enough, right? And front view is this kind of, because it's a rectangular object. So it's got a straight base, and then it kind of goes out like that, like a crown, and out like that, out like that, and it's got this big, it's got like this, and it kind of goes out like that, and it goes like this, and then it's like that, and then these kind of curve down like that. Actually, technically it's more up there, but whatever. And then I guess we've got 2 little fellas poking there, something like this. I don't know, right? Good enough, right? All we really need are generalized measurements. So first we have our top. Now I want to know the longest to the longest, because that is the distance of the rectangle. And looking at it, so what I'm doing is you do this, and then you kind of move the ruler, you hinge it up and down and find the longest distance. The longest looks like 59 centimeters. So then we go from there to there, 59. Because then from here to here, I mean, technically it is not 59, but if we filled in the negative, it will be. So that's why we'll make a 59 centimeter thingamajigger. What do you call it? Whatever, rectangle. And then from here to here, which is the next major shape, it's about 42. So from here to here, 42. And then I want from here to here, which is like 15. Can I get more than 15? 14 and a half. So we could just average it to 15 millimeter. And then this fella is a little thing, a little rectangle looking thing, 7 across. Again, you want to be thinking of height, length, and width, essentially. And then long ways, so wide ways at 7, long ways it's about 9. There to there, it's 9. And we can copy some of those measurements to here, so the more you get, like for example, from the base, from there to there should be 59-ish. So technically from there to there should be 59 again. So from here to here, 59. But then we want this one. The outer radius is 41. The inner is like, I guess that's only a 1 millimeter. Is that a 1 millimeter? 1 millimeter. I mean, like this part's like 1 millimeter. And then we've got this internal cone thing, which is like what? 27. And then the inner circle. Well, technically the inner thing's going to be the same as that, so you know, I'll just leave it as so it's going to be 7 and then 9. Just kind of leave that as that. It does have a circle in the middle, which is a radius of about 10-ish. think. So just put 10. Just get some basic measurements. You can do it all later. All right, now for this, for the front. What is the widest from the side to the side? And it'll be a lot easier if you got calipers, because eyeing it out's not perfect because of perspective. Actually, that'd be 59 technically, because it's, yeah, I've already done that. And but the base is how big's the base? Oh yeah, I've already done the base as well, because we did it for here, and it was 41. Is that correct? Correct. It was 41. So again, we have all these measurements, and pretty much that's good enough. And then the top from here to here is also 41. That's 41. These things from here to here, from tip to tip, is about 24. Here to here, 24. And these things here are about, see, I could get a front view, because you got to realize, this object, it has that side and that side. It's like positive, negative, or 1, 0, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. Do you get what I mean? So a front view of that, and then a front view of that would be a smart idea. So again, I'll just quickly draw that up. It looks kind of like, this, and then it goes splayed out, and then it goes like that, and then it goes like that, and it's like that, right? Like so, right? Kind of like that. Good enough. We've got our measurements. So now we take this to the computer. Alright, so now what I do is I go into Blender and my computer, and I open a general scene view, and we delete the light, we delete the camera, and now first I want to save it. We just save it as a tap handle V1. Okay, and I also want to delete the cube, because as I said, we go add mesh cylinder. It's a cylinder, and geometrically the cylinder, what we can do here, and just click on this add cylinder part, with vertices we can change the amount of vertices. And again, as I said, there was six primary of these faces, right? So if we go all the way to 6, that's kind of nice. But what I could do is I could double that up to 12, which then gives us the, see, would that be big enough, or is that too small? I'm holding my object and I'm like putting it in front of me to see, because we have like flat faces which are kind of smaller, and then we have these large wider faces, like these wider out of here areas. So I'm trying to think, like, would it be easier to work with 6, or is it actually easier to work with 12? Because it could even be that 18 is going to be easier, because then I could have these these faces here, but then I could have the 2 doubles, because again, 3 times 6, or 6 times 3 is 18. So I'm going to go with 18, and we'll just see, we'll just test it out, right? Anyway, whatever, save that and model. Go to edit mode, of course. And firstly, I just want to get the kind of average sizes, and of course we'll click on the lock, the snap, because it makes it easier. Sometimes I keep snap on, sometimes I turn it off, right? Now again, these cubes are 1 centimeter when I 10x scale it, and each of these cubes is 1 millimeter, and of course then you have 10 centimeters, and you have a meter here. If I scroll down again, you have to 10x the measurement when you compile it, right? So anyway, I'm going to go to my page, and firstly we're going to get our top and bottom. I actually forgot to measure the distance between the top and the bottom, so I'm going to do that now quickly. 44 millimeters from the top to the bottom, which means what we do is I take the top and I go G to grab, Z to go on the y-axis, and then we go all the way to, so that's 10, 20, 30, 40, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go, 44. and then I wanted like thickness. Actually, excuse me, what I'll do is I'll do that in a minute. I want to get the width, and the width is, the largest is 50, is that 59? Okay, so instead, now currently it's 2, that'd be like 3, that'd be 4, that'd be 5, that'd be 6, almost, and you can see what I'm doing is I'm getting it halfway. You see these? I'm getting it halfway, so that means it is when I go like this, and then I'll take it off the grid for a minute, push it over, I'll just get it to one of these, right? So that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 59. Not perfect, but it's good enough, right? And then for lengthwise, as I said, I want to get this, move it down just a touch. So it's sitting on here, then we turn back to snap. And I said it's 44 tall, so I want to go 10, 20, 30, 40, and then 4, is that 1, 2, 3, 4? Correct. So now it is as, this shape, if we go, it's as tall and as wide as I want it, which is the first things that I do. And now I'm going to get that like kind of interesting shape that it has. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut, but I'm going to cut where it's sharp, as in here. So I'll quickly measure this out to get so from the top to this outer edge area it's like 15.5, but we'll just do 15. I want to bring this up to here, so, and then I want to get a cut, and we think from 10, 1, 11, that's 13, I want 15, that's not enough, so I want to bring that up just a touch. Turn the scale off for a minute. So you can see now we have 15 from here to here. So when so this is meant to be out like that, but the bottom part here is meant to be 41. So then what we're going to do is, so from 59 to 41, so I'm going to go S to resize it, and you can see here, so that's about 41. Okay, right? And then the top one, it's about 42. So from the top I want to do a similar thing, except instead of having 41, we have 42. This should be it, right? So now we've got our diamond shape. And what we want to do is, I'm going to start, because I'll do the negatives later on. I'll show you how we do the negatives, because we use a Boolean modifier. Create one of these, so that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, very good. Now we go pull in, oops. Hang on, does that look okay? Good enough. Pull in. And look at that. Now we have that diamond shape, more or less. Now, is that going to be good enough to grip? I actually don't know. Maybe we need a little more, you know, like a smoothing out of this. Maybe not. Which is really, I just have to add more like vertices if I wanted to smooth it. For example, we do that, and then we go here to here, pull it in a little bit like so, and that's a little more smoothed out now. And also I want to, what I want to do is I also want to be pulling in these. I forgot to do that. like so. So it creates kind of a, I could do that a little more. And how far do I want to pull these in? Well, actually, do I? Yeah, I don't know. I'll do a little bit of pulling in for these. Actually, that's fine. That looks alright, right? Let's go do that quickly. You know, maybe that'll look kind of cool. Do I really need to smooth it out? I don't know. Let's just delete these vertices. Oops. Okay, well, I'll just try to angle it as best I can to make it look like it was geometrical. But anyway, whatever, that looks pretty nice to me so far. So now we have the basic outer shape, and all we need to do is add the negatives. So now we're going to add firstly we have a top cube. Can we not add a sphere? Is that not a thing? Okay, UV sphere, very nice, UV sphere. And I want to pretty much put it on the top, 4mm. I need the base to be kind of wider. It's not really what I want. You go 1, 2, 3, 4. What if I just keep expanding it out? Is that going to be better? I think, yeah, that's starting to look kind of what I want. Okay, so I want the top 4mm. 1, 2, 3, 4. That looks good. And now what we do is we we go back to our cylinder, we add something called a boolean, and then we select our top 4mm and we hide the top 4mm, and we go back to here, and it didn't work. Why didn't it work? Oh, we gotta click this thing, the edit mode, and look at that. We now have, well, that's not perfect enough. I want that a little better. Let me try to get it directly on top. Oh geez, how is this gonna work? Okay, this is gonna be a little bit of a confusing thing to do, but let's try to get this as perfect as we can on top, or I'm just gonna have to smush it down a little. Or not. A little more there. There we go, and that should look pretty much good. You see, now we have that shape on the top. That's looking very nice, isn't it? Now we need the little cutout bit, which it looks like it's about 6. Okay, so I need to go back to layout, and then we add a cylinder, and this one's called top 6mm. We take this cylinder, and I need to get it to be smaller, not small enough, about 9. Yeah, it is called diameter. It's the line between these two, between basically that area to that area. It's about 9.5 actually, so I'm going to just make it a little more. And then the height is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5. Perfect. Now what we do is we take this fella and we put him directly in the middle, as middle as possible at least. Kind of eyeball it out, I guess. And then we take him up and That's not up enough, I don't think. Up one more. That's good. Now what I actually want to do is take him maybe just down a touch, because I want it to poke out, but I don't want it to be poking out too much. And then what we do is we go back to a cylinder, we add another boolean, we select top 6mm, and then hide the top 6mm, and now we have a little hole for there. Very lovely. But we need that shape, that curved. Well, could I do it with the? I'll use a cube. We'll use a cube. Top curved rectangle. Okay. Where's top curved rectangle? And the top curved rectangle was a 9 by a 7. So let's get him all squared up. Yep. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. And then we want it to be 9. So it's a 9 by a 7, but it has a nice little curved shape. Let me just measure this out perfectly. Yep. Actually, from here to here is only a 6. Interestingly, so it loses around 3, or more of a 7. Well, yeah. So it loses around 1 millimeter. Which I'll show you what we do. So we go with these two, we go down by 1, and then these two we go up by 1, and now this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Very nice. And to make it more curved, we just add more geometry. Very easy, right? So from here to here. And then we slightly bring that up. Oops, let me do it perfectly. And see that? Nice and curved. You could just add lots of geometry and kind of smooth things out and make it a little more low poly, but whatever. Let me just bring that up. And you see that looks very nice. Now, how tall is this? It doesn't really. Seemingly it doesn't really matter as long as it's in properly. So now we put this, it needs to go to the bottom of here, to the bottom of here, and I'm just eyeballing this to get my left and right measurements, and then we get this in as perfect as I can. Yep, so we can see that is actually that's a little bit too big. This maybe it needs more diameter. Hang on. Turns out the top hole thing was 14 to 14. So I screwed up the this one here is meant to be larger actually. It's meant to be it's what are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's meant to be like 15 or 14. So I'm just going to go S and get this a little bit bigger. 14, get that a touch bigger. It's like 14 and a bit. It's not really, There we go. See, now that is a larger surface, and now that fits perfectly. And if I add another Boolean modifier to my cylinder, then we get the top this thinger, and then we make this invisible. Look at that. We now have this thing all in place. I only need really one more, which is this bottom part here. So we'll just go to layout, and I need another cylinder, and bottom cylinder, bottom, and this one, its diameter needs to be bottom 36, and its height needs to be around, let's say about 24. Bottom 36 x 24 x h24, so D36 h24. Oops. Assuming my measurements are correct, let's model it out. So firstly, diameter, we'll do that first because it changes everything. So diameter needs to be 36, that's about 20. That's about nearly perfectly. And I want it just a touch bigger. Alright, very nice. Diameter 36. Is that correct? 1, 2, 3. Yep. Now the height needs to be 24. So 24. 2, 3, 4. Alright, very good. And now we take this fella and we go into here. I also want to make it just a touch bigger because it needs to come out of the bottom just to make sure things are okay. But that looks pretty centered. I do say so. It's a touch off. Yeah, no, that's perfect. And this is how is that? Is that nearly? That's pretty much perfect. All right, and now we go back to our, oops, can I move that down to our cylinder? Just name it base shape. And then we add our boolean bottom stingo, and that looks pretty good. Now, of course, it is simple geometry. Whether it's going to work or not, I don't really know. But, you know, how about we print it? So firstly, we save it. So look at that. Look at that. Isn't that just... Let's go to layout. Look at that. What a nice piece of work. And it looks mostly the same as the other one. There's certain things, like I could have kind of areas in here which lets you push in the what do you call it, the cone thingo, but I don't know. I think that's probably good enough, right? All right, now we go export. I do legacy STL because STL doesn't work, and then we do 10x, and we have to do selection only. All right, so I got to use my screen capture to do this. So what I have is in the include section, selection only, and then we have in the transform section, it needs to be scale times 10. That means, because currently the scale I used with the millimeters and centimeters, you have to 10x it to make it work in reality, and then apply modifiers, and then just do export STL legacy. Now for me, the legacy one's the only one that works, the regular does not, so you can try that yourself. Okay, so we open up Ultimaker Cura, and then what I do is I drag my tap handle STL file, and you can see that it got the negative, so that's very good. Now, of course, the bottom is red, meaning because it's, it needs support. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to click Generate Supports. I'm also going to go for temperature. We're going to go 50 because I find even 50 is a little hot. It warps the PLA, I find, and I don't need an adhesion thing. I just use glue. Oh, that should work. And then of course we just slice it. We preview it. And you can see here these got all supports, and there's no 45-degree overhang, so that red should be just fine. And you can see that it's not fully, it's a bit hollow core, which is okay, as long as no one wants to death grip it, or wants to, too much stuff falls on it. But it should be, with all of these outer layers, it should be strong enough, hopefully. But you can see that's the build, and then all I do is I just save it, I just copy it to my USB that I put in my printer, and that is what we do. Alright, so now we can see here, all I'm going to do is I've got my USB in, and I'm just going to give it a little bit of the pre-glue sticking. I've already got some on there, but I'll just, just to make sure. It's only a small area in the middle, I think, so that's good enough. Then we go to print, and I've got my tap handle here, and then it says 45 minutes, we go confirm. And now it's just going to warm itself up. Okay, it's working on its first layer now. Okay, it's just finished. There we go. And we can see here, it's kind of messed up where that point where I added that extra geometry, but otherwise the other geometry is pretty much on point. And for here the supports, crunch all these away. There we go. It doesn't look too bad. So comparing this one to this one, they look similar-ish. Of course, I didn't completely copy it. And strength-wise, it's pretty good. I can't crush it like an apple. Now, will this work properly? Because that hole looks a little smaller than that hole. So I'm going to see if this actually works. Here we are. Put this on and then put this on, and let's see. It's gonna. It's feeling a little bit small. Yep. Okay, so I need to make that. Nope, that's not getting on there. No matter what. Okay. I could file it out if I had some files, but I don't. Alright, so I just printed this and I fixed the errors here, at least, well, partially. Whatever. Let's try it out. Really don't want to have to print another one of these, so let me put this in, and yes, it's a little bit tight there, and of course it works pretty fine. Okay, is it meant to go on further or not? I don't know. This one kind of goes on a bit further. Oh yeah, because it's got this little tiny bit there. Oh, so that's what that's for. So I've got the original, Okay, so that does, the original one does work, kind of. I mean, can I really complain? It does work. And there we go. Looks like a flower. So, that's how to reverse engineer stuff in your house, and through trial and error make a functional piece of equipment. This could have been maybe a door handle, or it could have been a little, I don't know, something, right? There's plenty of things you can make, plenty of things that houses might need to fix themselves with.